Hey everyone, welcome back to ONYX Pages. I'm Njeri and I am so happy to be presenting to you a bunch of batch filmed videos where I'm going to be talking about books that I've read in Q1 of the year. Now, I'd like to thank a couple of people who have really impressed upon me the importance of batch filming. They are Musical Tati and Brittany from Melon and Eclectic, because you know what? Any of you who are content creators and who also have other life responsibilities that are very time consuming, you'll know how important it is to find time in your life to be able to film and to do that in an efficient way. And if you've got a lot of equipment, it can be a lot to set up and set down, especially if you're working in a really small space. So what batch filming allows me and others, my inspirations, to do is to help us get that content out while making like the least amount of intrusion into day-to-day life. So with that introduction, this is probably going to be the first video of, I think, 4 videos in this outfit in which I'm going to talk about what I read, or in the case of my first video, did not read in Q1. So I hope you enjoy. Alright, I'm back. So my first video is going to be one where I talk about a book that I have set down until a later time. Now, before I get into talking about why I've set this book down, because I'm actually excited, no, that's a lie. I'm not excited to read it, but I'm interested in the story still. I haven't given up on the story. And also, a lot of folks on Booktube DNF things. That means do not finish. And they sort of like, I guess, DNF a book, don't get back to it, maybe sell it or unhaul it, or maybe it just like recedes into the, the back of the shelves. I try not to DNF books. I do that for a couple of reasons, because there are reasons other than pleasure that I read. I also read books for research purposes. So, for example, if there's a very popular book that comes out and I know that I might not be interested in it, but I know that it'll make a mark on the canon or on the genre, I might read it just so that I can talk about it and remain current with the books that are coming out. I also struggle with DNFing independent authors because I guess I really admire authors who publish their works in ways that might not have the direct path to the big lights and the big glamour that you would get if you published with one of the more well-known publishers. But oftentimes, especially when I'm reading books by Black, female, or non-binary authors, I really appreciate the work as a commitment to their own practice, to the development of their own skills. And I just, I want to honor the time and energy it took to put the words on the page and to get their ideas down. I want to honor that with my own attention and so on. So even if I put a book down, I will try to come back to it. And this is how I feel about the first book that I'm going to talk about. That is The Peril of Knowing by Sherilyn G. Brown. This is book 2 of the Conscious Dreamer series. Now, I absolutely love the premise of the Conscious Dreamer series. So here we're following 2 women. One's named Roxelle, the other is named Lauren. Roxelle lives on another planet, and on that planet, they have been able to master the ability of entering into the dreams of humans and manipulating their thoughts and actions through the dreamscape. The reason they do that is because they're working for this very hierarchical system in which the keepers are at the top, and they're aliens who eventually want to invade Earth, but they need to prepare Earth for the invasion. And so they do that telepathically by planting messages and technology and all sorts of things into certain humans, right? So that's the premise for book number 1. And so in book number 1, a whole bunch of things happen. Obviously, some of you are very sensitive to spoilers, but a whole bunch of things happen. There's a bit of a rebellion and so on. And then we enter to book number 2, The Peril of Knowing. So at this point, Roxelle and Lauren, they understand that they have a connection, and there's something unique about their connection. It actually evolved from what it was in book 1. And now we see both of them engaging with their own lives, their own separate sort of timelines, right? They're living in the same sort of, not the same time space. They're in the same time space continuum, but they're in different places. But now they're aware of each other, and they can communicate in ways that they couldn't in book 1. And they each have had very significant changes that have happened in both of their lives. And so there's something very interesting about the development of their relationship, and also about the world around them, because there still is that tension between this alien race and the human race, and the different groups of individuals in conflict with each other, and how these 2 Black women find themselves in the midst of all of that. So that is fascinating, but I had to put it down. Why did I have to put it down? I had to put it down because, Lord, this was the first 50 pages or so, the first 88 pages were a luxurious stroll through the mundanities of these 2 women. And I just can't right now. I like it there. I can't. There were side characters being introduced, and backstory, and all of this stuff, and I was like, I don't care right now. I want action. I want fast pace, and I want more tension. I want more passion, right? And it didn't give it to me in the first 88 pages. And I think what happened for me was that I kind of realized that, you know, with everything going on in the world right now, I'm wanting big impact books, like big impact, right? And I read one big impact book that I'll talk about in the next video, and I just want to be hit with that, right? Like, just boom, put me in the world, give me something blowing up, somebody falls in love, somebody else doesn't, like whatever, I don't care, just give me big impact books. And this book in the first 88 pages didn't give me that. So I decided, you know what, now is not the time for me in The Peril of Knowing. I need to read that when I'm in a space for probably the other 2 books of the trilogy, where I want sort of a more moderate paced, character driven story, right? That I can really sort of sink my teeth into and walk with, stroll with, as opposed to what I'm feeling right now, which is short impact, like intense. So I put this book down, and at some point I'm going to pick it up. It is not a DNF, because usually when people say DNF, they say it's really like DNF is a weird term. Let me just get type A for a second. DNF is a really strange term because it stands for did not finish, or did not finish, right? Did not finish. And I think what's kind of weird about that is that it doesn't really give you more information than like you did not finish it. So for example, one could say that I DNF'd The Peril of Knowing, but the term DNF doesn't talk about what your intention is. It's just sort of a fact. So yeah, I didn't finish The Peril of Knowing. Who cares? What is that? That doesn't tell you anything. What matters is that I realized that as a mood reader in the world right now, I'm not in the space to read The Peril of Knowing. So I've put it down, and I will come back to it at some point. I haven't decided that I'm not going to finish the book right? So yes, I didn't finish it, but I have a plan. So what I'm gonna start doing is saying PID. I put it down, right? So I don't DNF, but for this one, I PID'd it, I put it down, and I'm gonna pick it up at some point. All right, so if you've watched this video all the way to the end, I have some questions for you. Number one, do you DNF, or do you PID, or do you do something else? Tell me your thoughts on this notion of DNFing books, and whether that acronym actually works for you and accurately describes like what you do when you decide that you don't want to finish something for now, or forever. That's my first question. Second question is, have you read the Conscious Dreamer series? I know a couple of you have mentioned it. I'm really curious as to how you felt about the first 100 pages of The Peril of Knowing, and did you have a similar experience to me? And if you've read the whole trilogy, I'd love to hear your reflections on where I am right now in the trilogy, based on the fact that you've already read it. And I think that is all I want to say for now. I'm looking forward. I think what I need is a time where there's not as much tumult out there and I can actually like focus for long periods of time. I think that is a better time for me to read the book. Anyway, if you watched the video all the way to the end, I want to thank you for doing so. And Tomi, can you hear me? No, she's got her noise canceling headphones on. So if you got all the way to the end, what I would like you, I would ask for you to include in your, first please comment, include in your comment, how about, well, the cover of this book has a black woman looking through, it looks like a window, a circular window out to a landscape. So I know that there are emojis that have landscapes. So if you can use a landscape and a window, that would be great. Remember to read with purpose and read with ease. If you're not feeling something for now, it's okay to PID and come back to it later. I will see you in my next video. I would also like to shout out in this series of videos some South African booktubers that I have just started to follow and learn about. So the first booktuber that I want to shout out, let me just go and grab her channel, because I watched one of her videos very recently. Okay, so Nomzamo Shangase. So Nomzamo Shangase. So that is the name of the booktuber, and I think that is actually the name of her channel as well. So yes, is that the name of her channel? Yes, Nomzamo Shangase. So yes, I'm gonna put her, maybe I'll put her thing in the thing and you can click and find her and subscribe to her. Okay, thanks for watching and I will talk to you soon. Bye.